We watched Space Jam as adults. Our first reactions? Wow. The year was 1996. The mission? Combine Michael Jordan, the Looney Tunes, and a monster soundtrack all into one movie. But does it hold up today? Find out our thoughts as we watch another movie at Grandma's house. Hello. Please come in and welcome to Movies at Grandma's House. Help yourself to the chocolate chip cookie in the cookie jar. I'm your host, Isaac. Get your Hanes on, lace up your Nike, grab your Wheaties and Gatorade, and we'll pick up a Big Mac on the way to the ballpark.
And I'm Seth. Whoa. I didn't know Dan Aykroyd was in this picture.
It's great to see you, Seth. What film are we considering today?
We're watching the 1996 Space Jam.
All right. Well, before we jump into it, this is your spoiler warning. So from here on out, if you have not seen this film, consider yourself warned. So let's get some film facts to get a little bit backstory on the film Space Jam. It was released back on November 15th, 1996. The budget, $80 million. It had a box office of $312 million. Looking around at reviews, IMDb has a 6.5 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes sits at a 44%. Letterboxd, 3.3 out of 5. Currently, as of this recording, you can stream it on Tubi. It stars the Michael Jordan himself, Bill Murray, Wayne Knight. It also includes the voice talents of Danny DeVito, Billy West, and many more. It's in association with Warner Brothers Pictures. And let's get Grandma's thoughts.
Granny's family-friendly rating for Space Jam is a B for language and animated violence.
There you go. And be sure you drop us a comment down below your thoughts on the movie Space Jam. But before we dive into our experience watching this again, let's start from the beginning. So Seth, start with you. What are some of your first memories with this film?
Absolutely loved this movie. I had the soundtrack even when I was a kid. I was a huge basketball fan, so Michael Jordan was the king of basketball. He was basketball in the 90s and was the most famous athlete for sure back then. So this was a big, target on my back for this movie when I was growing up. So my first memories were just really loving every aspect of this film.
It was hard to not see this movie. It was everywhere when it came out. Like you said, everybody got Michael Jordan fever. So I'm with you. Like, this was anything merchandise. I feel like it was in your face. Posters were in the news for people like swiping them and trying to resell them, that kind of stuff. But yeah, this hit on everything 90s during that time. If you watched anything sports, it was always Michael Jordan. So they knew what they were doing when they made this movie, I think, especially with the marketing. It got it in your face. That's all I think about with my first memories. I believe we saw this in the theaters, but I can't tell you for sure. But I do recall watching it at least as soon as it came out or shortly after. With that said, though, going back on the rewatch, what was your expectations?
So really, it was just hoping that it would be a good time and trying to enjoy it. So that was really low expectations, I should say.
Yeah, you got to almost put yourself of like, this was a product of the 90s. So have those expectations of knowing it might show its age at times, but as long as you just have a good time, it's a kid's movie. So as always, I was just hoping, hey, I hope the kids enjoy it. I'm going to watch it with them and see if they get a kick out of it like I did when I was their age. Well, before we get into our plot rewind, let's take just a moment to hear from our sponsor. Hey, love movies as much as we do? Then bring the experience of the theater to your walls with movieposters.com. Whether you're into the classics, the blockbusters, or indie gems, they have something for every single film fanatic. As a listener of our podcast, you can save up to 15% on your order right now. Just use code Grandma's House at checkout. Head to movieposters.com and let's build your ultimate collection today. All right, let's take the VHS out of the cupboard. Let's put it in the VCR and press play.
In an effort to beat the monsters, the Looney Tunes seek the help of retired NBA star Michael Jordan. In this 90s classic, we see a lot of familiar faces. Also, don't forget the soundtrack. Join us at Grandma's for another nostalgia-filled feature.
There it is. Wow. This just hits you in the face again of so much 90s in it. I can't even begin to start. But my impressions of right away was like, I feel like I just jumped in a time machine. I am back in the 90s. Like you said, the Michael Jordan hype, it is throughout the film. Even the side characters, you almost feel like they're breaking the fourth wall a little bit because they're so excited to see Michael Jordan. That's just the common theme that's throughout this film. But I'm really curious. I'm going to start with you. What are your first impressions when you're watching this movie?
So it had been quite a long time since I'd seen this one, but the beginning brought back a lot of memories and some laughter. I think it's more enjoyable than I had assumed it was going to be. So that was good.
Yeah. And it was just so interesting to see it with adult eyes. I think if you were to ask me as a kid, I'd just be like, this is so awesome. This is so crazy good. Just everything about it. Now coming back to it, I have to be more honest. I'm like, there's a lot more cracks that we're showing this time around being an adult. And we'll get to it more, I'm sure, of just maybe the pros and cons when it goes, but especially like the CGI, that part of it is showing they're still developing this technology. It was a little rough around the edges, and at the time I didn't think anything of it. But I will say the animation still holds up today. Like Looney Tunes, the interaction with Michael Jordan with the Looney Tunes, I think that part of it is just kind of a interesting blur with the CGI mixed in. What did you think of the animation? I'm curious to hear what you're thinking.
I guess for the time it was decent, but it really didn't hold up too well. It's not, you can't really compare it with today's animation. So it's kind of like a time capsule almost of what it was like back then.
Right. That's what it was. I mean, that was outside of your like Jurassic Park where it was breaking boundaries, but that was the state of the art. And only a few years removed from that, that wasn't their objective in this movie. Let's just be honest. They were not trying to be top of the line technology. They obviously wanted to be a full production, and they did that. I go back to the animation was well done. The CGI, they were just kind of going with the budget bin of technology there. I feel like that's what a lot of movies were like that year. But the other thing that kind of stuck out to me was the plot overall. I'm interested to get your thoughts on the plot overall.
So for an animated movie, I thought that it was a pretty cool plot, especially when I was younger. It seemed rather clever at the time. Now it seems like that kind of has been taken, like ran through the ringer kind of thing since then, maybe a little bit. But I really enjoyed it when I was younger, and so I was kind of hoping that stuck with me. And it was, not quite as clever as I thought it was originally, I guess.
Right. It serves a purpose. It moves to what everybody's wanting to see in this movie. Michael Jordan playing with the Looney Tunes. That's the whole, and that's what you're going to get. You certainly get it in the third act of the big game that they play against the Monstars. I have to say that correctly. But yeah, I will say, man, I am totally with you. As a kid, I thought this is awesome. And then coming back as an adult, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of holes in this one. You just got to like turn your brain off, because my thought is like, okay, these aliens are able to turn invisible and become this goo and take quote unquote talent from people and all those little things. It's not that they had to go in depth and explain everything, but it was just like, oh yeah, let's just go steal their stuff. You also have to rewind, because at first you're like, what? And then you go, this is a Looney Tunes movie. Okay. Lots of things don't make sense. They just kind of are in that universe. So that's where you kind of have to pull yourself back into it. I guess that's me being an adult, but as a kid, absolutely. I thought it was such a cool plot. Nowadays, if you're really going to nitpick, you could really rip this one a big one, because the other thing is like they tell the aliens, we challenge you to a basketball game, and they're evaluating the aliens. And my thinking is like, okay, they said they're slow. Why didn't they challenge them to a race and have Roadrunner be the... That was what was going through my head. I mean, little stuff like that. That's nitpicking, I know, but it was like, okay, again, it's getting to that we're going to have Michael Jordan play with a bunch of Looney Tunes. So it serves its purpose, but...
I was going to say I wouldn't have made $230 million if it was just the Roadrunner.
It would be like those memes, like, we challenge you to a race, and it shows Roadrunner, and then it's just the end credits. There's memes that do that, like the plot changes. That would totally be one of those memes for sure. But yeah, the plot, it serves its purpose. But now I gotta ask you, obviously, this is the Looney Tunes. This is Michael Jordan. So when it comes to the characters, what'd you think of those?
Well, first off, let's talk about the Looney Tunes side. We've got Bugs, Daffy, all the regulars, and then even some new faces. And then we've got Wayne Knight, who makes an appearance as Michael Jordan's assistant, Bill Murray, and we've got a lot of basketball stars like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Muggsy Bogues, Larry Johnson, Sean Bradley, Vlade Divac, and also Ahmad Rashad. So they got some big names for this picture. Yeah. And I was really impressed with the characters. And I even thought the Looney Tunes were really funny in this one as well. So, I was kind of shocked.
Yeah, I think it holds up well. Like back then, I thought Looney Tunes were hilarious. I thought they were great. But that's a strength of this film. It still holds up. Can it be cheesy at times? Sure. That's Looney Tunes, though. Like it transitions. I really love when they actually show older clips of Looney Tunes when the main baddie, Danny DeVito, I can't remember his name, but he is trying to find a way for his amusement park to be more loony. They pull up the Looney Tunes. I love that part. And then when they land and kidnap Bugs Bunny and say they need to have a staff meeting, the kids are watching a Looney Tunes cartoon, Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner, and Porky Pig comes and is like, wait, we gotta go, and then just leaves. That part I really thought was clever and funny.
Yeah.
So those types of things still hold up. I agree with you. It's a lot of fun. What else is there to say? If you're familiar with Looney Tunes, you know the characters, you know what their premise is, what they got going for them. Now, this is something I have to ask you about because this is another thing that stuck out to me. The acting was a little outside of, like you mentioned, Wayne Knight, you got Bill Murray. The actual actors were solid. I thought they did a great job. However, I want to get your take. What did you think of Michael Jordan? This was his first acting role. So how do you think he did?
Considering he didn't do really anything before this, I thought maybe SNL. I don't know. I thought he did a decent job. I will say it did lack in a few scenes. There were a few scenes that he tried to give it a little more drama than he could have. And that being said, I mean, I guess people are so starstruck it really didn't really matter.
No. Again, that's not what this movie is. It doesn't need to be this Shakespeare amazing act that's got amazing acting in it. It is something they definitely didn't put a lot of focus on. I go back to Bill Murray is fantastic. I actually chuckled at all of his scenes. He did great in it. Wayne Knight is that annoying, assistant, and he plays that part so well. But yeah, Michael Jordan's a little dry. I think that was the best way I could describe it. It's just, he gets sucked in the Looney Tunes world and he's just kind of, what's going on here? What's up? Hey, I mean, he's being more natural about it, but I would think if you were in that world, you'd be a little more shocked. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Could I say one thing real quick?
Yeah.
So the child actor who played Michael Jordan as a child, I thought did amazing, and so did his father. I forget his name. It's gonna kill me that I forgot his name. Anyway, they did an amazing job of that one opening sequence or whatever. I just was blown away by the acting in that scene. It was so well done, and it was shot just right too. So you felt like it was in the middle of the night and everything. And I just love that. The opening of this movie was really well done, I should say.
Yes, the opening is just kind of sidetracking. Is that like one of the best openings just to get you pumped up? Like you could just, if you go to a gym, just put that intro on and you're going to get pumped up.
I'm going to agree with you on that.
I don't know what it is. Like anytime I start this, I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. I don't know what it is. I give them applause. Like they got you ready for this movie. Like get pumped up you're going to see Michael Jordan playing some basketball. Baseball to start out with. I didn't realize this was going to be a documentary about Michael Jordan. I remember that at the time, like, oh, we're going this way. And you could almost fool some kids maybe. This is an actual documentary scene for scene. He retired during those years in 1994.
Yeah.
That would throw some
Yeah.
kids off. But
Yeah.
yeah, another thing that sticks out is obviously the soundtrack. You mentioned it.
Oh, yes.
What do you think? What are your thoughts on the soundtrack? I mean, where do you start there?
I mean, Come on, Ride the Train. I Believe I Can Fly. The Seal song. There's a bunch of songs on there. I think All for One did a song on that as well. Just an amazing soundtrack for, the movie was okay. I mean, at the time it was great when I was a kid, but like the soundtrack is unbelievable. I mean, probably the best thing out of the movie. I'm probably not wrong about that.
It's still got this like legendary status, that soundtrack. When people talk about what's a movie soundtrack, it feels like Space Jam is brought up. So I'm agreeing with you 100%. It feels like there's just, you look back like, whoa, they got this person, they got this person. There's some names on that soundtrack. And yeah, they're catchy. Like you put that on and you're just kind of grooving. Like, okay.
I was kind of singing along when the scenes would end and I was like, come on.
And I will say you're 100% on that too, is that was one of the focal points, I think, in production was, okay, we're obviously going to have good animation, the cartoon part with Michael Jordan. That's got to be good. Plot, maybe we won't put focus on, but we've got to get the soundtrack in because that's going to push this movie on the marketing. And I don't know if you caught this, but the credits, I like to watch credits all the way through. That's something, and they crammed almost every song in the credits. It would like cut to the next song, like really rapid fire. Did you catch that?
I didn't watch all the credits. In fact, I actually fast forward a little bit by little bit to see if I missed anything. But I watched a little bit of the credits, and yeah, I did catch there were a few songs in there. Yeah, that's not normal. Usually 2 songs. I've heard 4 or 5, but that's not normal.
I wish I counted. That's the only thing I'll have to go back and count because I think it was like 10. I'm not kidding. It was rapid firing. Like they almost cut songs off midpoint, got to the hook chorus, but then right after they threw in the next one. And I can't fault them. Again, it's a great soundtrack, so I can see why, but you also can see those cracks a little bit more, like I said, of the movie didn't focus. They could have put a little more attention in areas over here, but what they focused on, hey, I applaud them. They did a good job with what they were going for. And obviously, like you said, they did good at the box office. Who knows what the merchandise on this did, unless it's a fun fact, but it was a hit. It was definitely a hit back in the day. Okay. Well, anything else for you to throw in or any other thoughts?
Well, the only thing I could think of was that scene when he's playing baseball. He's at the batter's box, and the catcher is telling him pitch by pitch what's going to happen. I don't know if that was actually true or not, but I can't. It can't be too far from reality because he was the athlete of the 90s. I mean, there wasn't anybody like him. Not even come close. I just that blew me away. I want to know what you thought about that scene.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite like quotes. Is just curveball, don't swing. And he said that before. Like, thanks for getting that autograph for my kid. So it was great. I think you're 100% right on that. Like maybe he wasn't acting. That was an actual person that they're like, hey, come in, we'll get you an autograph and just act natural like you are in this scene. And that's why this is a time capsule, because that's what it was like back then. People don't understand, if you weren't around that time, how much of a craze Michael Jordan was. In fact, if you watch where he strikes out, walks to the dugout, there's camera crew like outside the dugout just focused on him. It's so unrealistic, but it is, if that makes sense of like, it was practically like that, where there was just paparazzi always around him. Would they be like out on the field? No, not necessarily. It's trying to show you in the movie, but it does a great job of that, of capturing what it was like in that 90s of just Michael Jordan craze. Absolutely.
I might be dating myself, but I remember the coverage of his AAA career. I mean, I remember them talking about him on the news and stuff, and I'm like, this is not normal.
No. And he never made it to the majors. And that's where they show this in the movie. I mean, it's him in like the minors. So it does feel almost like a documentary. You just have some Looney Tunes and aliens sprinkled in there. Interesting when you think about it. So, all right. Well, I'm sure you've got some good fun facts, so let's hear them.
All right. So after Daffy suggests naming the team the Ducks, Bugs asks what kind of Mickey Mouse organization would name their team the Ducks. This was a dig at the Anaheim Ducks of the NHL, which were established by the Walt Disney Company, which we talked about in the Mighty Ducks episode, by the way.
Yeah.
I laughed at it so hard when I watched this. I watched it twice for this podcast, and I laughed at it so hard both times. That was awesome.
You gotta love those little digs. Yeah, for sure.
All right. The next one I've got was to keep Michael Jordan happy while filming. Warner Brothers built him an actual basketball court on the set so that he could use it whenever he could on breaks.
Makes sense. Yeah, because he was obviously getting back, coming back from his retirement.
Yep.
He was staying fresh, and lots of fun stories. I've heard about that from players. So if that's something that interests you, I recommend going and looking up those interviews. It's actually really fascinating.
And the last one I've got here is Bill Murray's jersey number was 22. This is a nod to Groundhog Day on February 2nd.
That is great. I love it. I mean, that's another movie I remember watching growing up, and the fact that they do little nods like that. I didn't catch that. That's really cool.
That's what I'm here for. All right. So it's time for a fun fact trivia question. Are you ready?
I am ready. I got to start this season off with a bang. So let's go.
Not too much pressure. Okay. So what color was Stan's Corvair sports car? A, black, B, gold, or C, white? Now, they only show the exterior in one shot.
Yeah.
It's the interior. They're in the car as he drives them home from the baseball game to his house.
I'm going to say gold. I'm going to lock it in.
Okay. So the answer is actually white, but I'm going to give you credit because it actually looks gold. And I think it's because the leaves over the car make it look like a gold, and it's probably a faded paint job. So it looks gold. So I'm going to give you that one. That's actually going to be a yes.
All right.
From me. So
that's what was in my mind. I'm like, I was going back between white and gold, but I was like, it was maybe like an offshoot of white. It wasn't like a true white when I saw it.
Yeah, I kind of set you up for failure on that one, so I'm going to give you that one because that
well, I appreciate it.
That was so obscure, like how anybody would be able to catch that and catch that it was white. Actually, I don't know. I didn't set you up to fail, but you know what I mean.
No, it works. If you say I got it right, that's all that matters. So there we go. For season 4, ladies and gentlemen, I am 1 for 1. When's the last time I could say that? I will take it. Well, before we get to our review, we like to look around the net, just kind of see what kind of reviews are out there. I'm really interested. Again, this movie is nearly 30 years old. Oh, I can't wait. What kind of reviews are you seeing there, Seth?
Thunder King 6 said, "Hello, Newman." 7 out of 10.
Is it bad I think that every time I see Wayne Knight? That's great.
I had to.
7 out of 10, though.
My favorite Little Songbird says, "Silly and somewhat juvenile, but entertaining for what it is." 7 out of 10.
Hey, another 7 out of 10, and we appreciate those repeat offenders. So I can agree with that.
This last one's a new one. Tasty Hot Dogs said, "A movie I'll make my kid watch so he subliminally decides to get into basketball." 6 out of 10.
That is true. Think of how many kids started playing basketball after this movie. I mean, Michael Jordan already did that, but especially with this movie, now you're seeing Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, all these Looney Tunes. I mean, it's definitely interesting statistic if you ever see that kind of a thing.
Someone could probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I grew up playing, I think it was the Commodore 64, Michael Jordan versus Larry Bird. And I used to play it like every night before I went to bed. And I mean, this movie came out like this was for me. I mean, it was like targeted to me. I mean, I remember there's commercials with Larry Bird and Michael Jordan and, you know, off the backboard, off the wall, all that stuff. Oh my goodness. It was marketed. This movie was marketed towards me for sure.
Oh yeah. Another fun fact thrown there is that the commercial that was in the Super Bowl there was one, it was of Bugs Bunny playing. So that's what inspired this movie. So
Yeah, exactly.
absolutely, if you lived through that time, you kind of saw it coming. It was just heading in that direction because of how big a superstar Michael Jordan was, how big basketball was in general. You just combine things. That's how media does it. And this is one of those things that they just happen to mix it together. This is what the result was. So let's get down to it with our reviews. So I'm going to start with you, Seth. When it comes to the film Space Jam, how are you going to rate it? Are you going to take it home? Are you going to watch it at grandma's? Are you going to hide it in the attic?
All right. So this may not have critical acclaim, but it was a smash at the box office and in my heart. That being said, it's a lot of fun to watch and brings back memories from my childhood, but I can't quite bring myself to take this one home. I'm going to watch this at grandma's, looking forward to the next watch.
Very nice. I'm going to just come out and say I'm with you. I'm going to have this as a watch it at grandma's. It's a lot of fun. It's something that I don't know what it is. The first act, I will say, did not age especially well. You almost feel like you're just wanting to get to the good parts in certain areas. There's little good scenes here and there, maybe a few chuckles, but I mean, there's a lot more, I'll say, adult jokes. I remember, kind of watching with my kids, like, oh, they aren't catching it. Thankfully, as a kid, I certainly didn't catch a lot of them. Like, we didn't even talk about Lola Bunny. She's a new character. Kind of making her that attraction. So that was a little awkward at times,
The couple of kisses in there seemed a little forced.
Yeah. We didn't touch on that. But, the little things like that doesn't ruin the movie. No, it's just kind of awkward, I would best put it. But once you get to that third act, it's just like, all right, I'm ready. I'm locked in. It's just so much fun. Like, it's silly. It's loony. It's all the above. And you're seeing Michael Jordan in his prime, playing against a bunch of monsters. Just what more do you want? Just turn your brain off. Just know this is a silly but fun experience. Like you said, I'm not going to watch this all the time. It's a fun, come back to it and go jump in that time capsule of the 90s and just enjoy the show. That's the best way I can put it. There you go, folks. Our first episode of season 4 is in the books. This was so much fun. I had a great time going back through this film. Seeing it with adult eyes, I mean, it had been a while since I'd seen this one, so this was so much fun. But before we wrap things up, Seth, why don't you tell the good people where they can find and connect with us?
You can find us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. You can email us at movies@grandmashouse@gmail.com. We have a newsletter, so keep up to date all things Movies at Grandma's House. We are on Patreon, and also go to movieposters.com. And use the code Grandma's House at checkout.
There you go. And as a reminder, yes, like Seth mentioned, get on our newsletter because we have our monthly giveaway of a free poster. And all you got to do is be on the newsletter. Big congrats to our winner in October, Aaron. He got a free movie poster. And if you want to get in on it, make sure you sign up. The link is down below. And also comment below your review. We love to hear your memories, your comments, and what you think of the films that we consider. Well, that's going to do it for our time at Grandma's House, but don't worry, we will be back soon. So in the meantime, remember to be kind and rewind. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye, everybody.